Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining the Unfeathered live stream. We are super excited to have you all amongst us. My co founder, Justin Thomas, will be joining us soon, including our other special guest, Andy Vergadal. Today's live stream is about part two of your personal brand. Part one was last week. Today, we will be bringing you, we have two here, three brand specialists who are going to cover at length how you can stand out, how to figure out that one thing that'll help you stand out with your brand, how to reinvent yourself, and how to do that confidently. This is the part two. Part one is last week, last Sunday. So, without further ado, I'll quickly introduce myself. Actually, I'll wait for my intro. Let's go quickly to our two guests, and then Andy and Justin will be joining us in a few minutes. Andy Vergadal and Justin Thomas. So let's hear it first for Justin Results French, or as we know, the Revenue Ronin, and he's wearing the hat. How are you? Please introduce yourself.
Yeah,
Thank you
doing
for being
great, Netta. Thanks for having me. Yeah, so good to be here. Yeah, for those of you who don't know, just a quick 30-second intro. I bootstrapped my way through business school running an IT consulting company. I made $1 million in 5 years, but I only netted 50 grand. It taught me a very important lesson called profit. So once I graduated in 2009, top of the business class, I decided to pivot into digital marketing. And so I've been doing digital marketing for about 15 years now and worked my way all the way up to CMO, Chief Marketing Officer. And now I've been, back on X for 2 years now every day and just building my personal brand and adding value and helping others that are building in public. So yeah, great to be here, Netta. Thanks so much.
Actually, that's how we met. We met through the Startup Circle, which is a space that you host, a social audio room you host every day at on weekdays at 9:45 a.m. Eastern time. So if anyone is looking into, learning more, they're 1 hour, but they're recorded. There's a lot of value given there. So thank you, Justin, for your intro. Let's go to Sherilyn.
Hey, my name is Sherilyn. In the corporate world, I've mainly worked in PR and what's called instructional design, which is basically teaching people how to do their jobs, right? Or just making large changes within companies. Outside of corporate, I work with something right now called Story Clouds. For about the past year, I've been studying AI and how it works and how it searches and how it's going to return the results that are about you and about anything you search about, and your ability to control that and to control your story. And right here, if you create your origin story, how quickly is AI going to pick that up and how do you get that out there? So that's what I'm looking at right now. And it just all plugs back into the big branding things and everything like that. So just this is a great topic and it's so important. And I'll just throw out there, this is the perfect time to rebrand yourself. If you're on your journey, you literally could not pick a better moment in time to rebrand yourself. So this is a great topic.
Thank you very much. And I will introduce myself and kind of provide more context about the topics that we covered last week. Very, very quickly. So my name is Netta. Nice to meet you, everybody. I am a release manager lead for a financial firm, and I just want to say any statements that I make during any live stream that I have or space are these are my opinions and not a reflection of the company I work for. Last week, part one, we covered the breakdown behind the breakthrough. If I'm looking on the other side, it's because I have another screen. And we talked about what are some of the causes of people uh, feeling the way they do, burnt out, cognitive load. They have too many things they're good at. They don't know what to choose. So, analysis paralysis. They've been laid off. They feel burnt out. They lost confidence in themselves. So, we covered some of the causes, or you're outgrown your job title. We said some of the solutions would be to sit down by yourself, have an introspective with yourself, uh, do a brain dump of your talents. I recommended the Career Rehab book by Kanika Tolver, which is really going to help you and guide you. I recommended a LinkedIn article that I wrote 2 years ago. You need to have confidence over about your experiences, about your skills, about your qualifications. You need to adopt a growth mindset, and you need to have, and we're going to cover that again, value progress over perfection. You don't need to know everything. The most important thing is to put yourself out there. You need to leverage what you already have. When you focus on what you have, that'll help you boost your confidence. And the last thing we covered, we really got to this nugget of reinventing your online brand. We got to here, and this is the part that we are going to be really, really diving into. What is that one thing? So you did your brain dump. You know what you're good at or the things you're good at. What's next? So today we'll be covering that and we will be breaking that down. So I will yield the microphone to Justin and Sherilyn. And what are the next steps if someone is in that stage in their career when they want to reinvent themselves? Because right now, I'm talking to people that have 25 years of experience in IT and they're having difficulties getting jobs or interviews. I'm talking to people that just finished school and they have absolutely no clue what to do. So, what are the people that are doing it right and getting those jobs and interviews? Like, we want to share that secret recipe. And actually, before we do, I apologize. One of our other esteemed panelists just joined us. Let's hear it from Andy Vergadal. Hey, Andy, how are you?
Hi,
Thanks for joining.
just can you guys hear me? Is everything good?
Perfectly well. Thank you
Okay,
for joining.
I'm
Can
gonna.
you please introduce yourself? And we're gonna get
Oh God, that's terrible.
talk about high
Oh,
tech. You
how
gotta
about I
teach me
switch
how
it
to do
back?
that.
Okay, how about we just lock it right there? Okay.
All right.
All right. Hi,
So
everybody.
tell us a little bit about yourself. You are
What?
absolutely phenomenal. I'm so happy you accepted this
What?
this request. So
What?
is Justin. So go ahead.
What do you want to know? I,
Branding. Tell us
I
about your branding side.
branding. I believe that every single person needs to create a personal brand, and that a personal brand is almost more important than your resume, because without your personal brand, you'll never get an interview, you won't get a client, you won't get anything. And so I think that you should focus your time creating and curating a personal brand. And that is what I do with what I call the brand blueprint engine. And the best, fastest way to do that is to create a personal blog in your name and produce content in a very narrow niche, solving problems in your superpower. And if you do that over 30 to 60, 90 days, you will become an undeniable expert in that area. So, yep.
Ooh, you fast forwarded way too much. Andy, who is Andy? That's what I meant. Sorry.
Who am I?
Yeah. People want to know who you are. Who are
I
you?
I'm me. I'm a dad. I've been married for 35 years. I have 2 children. One of them's just recently married. The other one just finished college, and I've been doing projects. I started doing sales, and then I moved into doing technology, doing legal documentation collection, and then I went into technology, writing code, and doing analysis and systems admin and database design and all of that. And then they said, you can actually talk to humans, so why don't you start running projects? And so I've been doing that for a couple decades, and lots and lots of projects. If you look at my bio, you can see all the really cool, like, mic drop numbers. But anyway.
I'll fill in some of the blanks. Andy has a really cool space in the startup circle on X around personal branding. He's had 50 episodes. He shows up every single day, and he has a really cool community where he creates content called the CEO of Your Life. Now, these are the reasons that I brought you three on, because you walk the talk. And we will have my co-founder Justin join us very shortly, just letting you all know, is because to me, people that build an audience, that have their branding right, that have been doing it consistently, are the ones who need to be a part of this panel. So, Andy, also for our entire audience, this is an interactive discussion. We are on X, YouTube, and LinkedIn. We will be moderating the comments, so feel free to drop any questions or comments that you have for us. Um, the following people that you have here have over a decade minimum of experience in branding, many decades of experience in their career. I don't want to age you, but all three of you, but you are well seasoned professionals that have been
I
doing
used
this.
I used to have hair. How about that? There are pictures of me with hair in the past. So yeah, anyway.
With or without her, you look great. But all this to say, we are going to talk about, and I'm sorry if this is repetitive, but I'm just kind of like telling Andy, we are at the part where someone has done a brain dump of their skills, and now they want to um they want to know what's next. What do they do when they know what they're good at? How are they going to package this all into value that they can share with the world? That's what we're talking about today. How are
Yeah.
they going to communicate that value? And I know you gave us a nice teaser of the 30, 60, 90 day, but let's go with the flow. So, oh,
There's Justin.
Justin, we don't,
What's going on, guys?
you're, hey, oh, wow. Talking about showing up, you are
What's going on,
like,
guys? I'm on a trip right now, so I had just apologies for being late. Apologies for any noise in the background. I'm in the DC area. I went to college out here to Georgetown, and I have an older daughter who's out here who had volleyball tournaments. She went off to homecoming in ninth grade this year, so I had to go see her. But also, if you guys don't know, I am the job father, executive recruiter with over 15 years of experience. I get you the offer you can't refuse. But more importantly, I am a top 20 rated poker player in the United States. So I'm at the MGM Grand right now, just finishing up a tournament where I won a $15,000 WSOP seat. So what you see in the background is the National Harbor. Any noise, forgive me, but I wanted to make sure I showed up. So I'll go ahead and mute right now and just listen to the conversation and join in when needed. Thank you guys for being here. Happy to be here.
thank you, Justin. And that's one of the things that we talk about in this community. Justin is my co-founder at Unfeathered. Progress over perfection. When you are doing your brand, you need to show up. You show up for your audience, you show up for yourself, you show up for your community. So thank you, Justin. I appreciate you for showing up. That says a lot. So let's start. I have provided Justin. I've provided our audience and our guests context. They have introduced themselves. I have introduced myself. So let's get to it. All right. I did my brain dump, right? And I am overloaded with talents and skills and things that I'm good at. What's next for me? If I'm, and I'm sure many people in their career are that way. Who would like to go first?
Yeah, I'll
How do you
go.
figure out
Yeah.
that thing that you're going to brand yourself on? And I have a follow-up question as well afterwards.
Yeah,
Please go
so
ahead.
just some highlights, some quick pro tips, like just to get into it. And good to see you, Justin. Didn't know you played poker. That's awesome, man. That's one thing about personal branding is you find out what people are interested in and you connect on common interests, and that gets you in the door, right? That gets you connected to people very quickly, right? So here's some quick pro tips. So visibility plus credibility equals profitability. So if you're not visible online, it's going to be a challenge for you, right? So the first thing you need to tackle is the visibility part. And that's where consistently updating your LinkedIn profile, your social media handles, and putting out great content and building connections, building relationships, that's ongoing, right? It's ongoing cultivating you have to do. You have to become obsessed with your own success because no one else is going to be that obsessed with your own success than you. And from my own personal experience, after being laid off from corporate 5 times over the course of 15 years, this last layoff taught me a very important lesson. And the two biggest mistakes I made was I stopped building my personal brand online for about 15 years, and I stopped building my email list. That cost me a lot. That cost me a lot. I'm really good at making others millions of dollars, my employers, my clients. But when it came to my own personal stuff, I had put that on the back burner. So now I'm really, and I encourage others to learn from my mistakes. This is something that doesn't stop. You always want to be visible. You always want to be demonstrating your credibility. And that's how you attract opportunities. You attract new connections. And it's not easy, but it's doable, right? And with commitment, everything starts with commitment because motivation fades. But when you start with commitment and you keep yourself visible, that's where you can make this stuff happen. So yeah, those are just some quick initial pro tips.
Great. Who else wants to take it? All right. I think Justin wants to say something.
Well, yeah, go ahead. You're fine. So I just want to say thank you so much for being here, Justin, Andy, and our special guest. I didn't get your name because I joined late, so please forgive me, Miss Pratt, Mrs. Pratt.
Yeah,
Mrs. Pratt,
Sherilyn.
thank you so much for joining us. And please forgive the wind in the background. I will get to somewhere quieter. I just want to make sure I hop on sooner than later. But the biggest thing about today is about our brand, right? And building that brand and talking about who you are and being comfortable with who you are, right? So as we go through everybody's introductions, Justin, I continue to see and learn different things about you every day, about your personal life, about what you're into, and how your personal life also integrates into what you do professionally. Andy, with the AI tools and everything that you've done over the last 8 months, I just want to tell you that it's been a big part of what I've done for the Job Father AI. So I hear a lot of wind back. Give me 3 minutes and I'll be right back. Okay.
All right.
And I'll jump in
So,
there.
Sherilyn, go ahead.
Yeah, just because what Justin said, I think is a very common story, right? Like it's very common because when you work in corporate, you are a piece of the machine, right? There's a skill that you bring to a group of people, and all together, you guys can make magic happen. You can change how people see the world. You can change what products people use and how people navigate. I mean, you can do pretty much everything, right? And as you're doing that, there is this kind of unspoken pressure, or has been historically. I don't know if it's present anymore, but that like you don't build yourself off the platform, that you don't kind of compete with the business or show that you're disloyal by broadcasting what you do outside of that's a more of a historical thing. I think we're transitioning away from that, but after you've done your brain dump, after you've done all those things, you kind of have to do what all the businesses do, because you are competing for attention, and you got to look around and see what's holding people's attention, right? Can you compete with K-pop demon hunters? Can you compete with Apple? Can you compete with this? Because that's who you're competing with, right? So after you do this brain dump, and after you get your skills, and after you see where you're at, one of the things that you have to do is you have to solidify, because you're building or rebuilding your public presence from scratch, right? Or you're starting at a very small level. So you need to have an authentic voice, and you need to have a visual signature. Like brains are going to recognize even colors and shapes and things like that very quickly, even before they recognize your words. So figuring out what's your visual, how do you catch people's eyes, and what's your voice? What's that voice that they learn to hear, like, the shepherd and the sheep, right? It's like, I know that person, or I know what that is. Like, I know that's Nike, right? We can spot a Nike ad from a mile away. And if you put a Nike next to an Adidas, we can spot the difference, right? They're competitors, but they use a different font, and they have a little different, vibe. And even if their logo isn't there, just by the fonts that they use, right? So there's a lot of things right there where you look down and you say, okay, here's what I am, here's what I can do. How can I present this in a visual and in a vocal way? And I give it a voice that people can see and recognize, and very quickly, within 1 to 3 exposures. They say 20, right? You definitely want it. 20 is typically when you get the sale, right? But you want to start immediately grabbing people's attention in a signature way, and finding out how you can do that. I would say that that's on your list after you've done your brain depth, saying, okay, I can do this, but a lot of people can do this, and maybe even AI can do this, right? So why me? What's the thing? Why me? And then bring a voice and a visual to that.
I love that share. I have so much to say about that. Andy, if you would like to say something.
Yeah, so I tend to look at everything backwards, right? So I look at what is the objective. If the objective is to get known, right? So the new thing I'm building is called the brand Blueprint, and the tagline is get known. Okay, simple. And so if you want to get known, how do you get known? They can either see you, they can hear you, they can read what you've written, or they can hear what somebody else has said about you or somebody else wrote about you. Right? Okay, those are the 5 ways that you can get known. And so I look at What are the things that I need to do in order to get known? If I'm going to present myself in some way, how does that end result look? Just like what Sherilyn was saying. What is, I wear the same color shirt pretty much all the time. It's got the same background all the time. It's got the same voice all the time. I have the same kind of presence and the same body language and the same kind of message all the time. Those are all intentional so that when you hear of me or see of me, you'll do what Justin did. Hey, Andy, you did all this stuff. It's really been helpful to me. You do all this stuff now. It's really helpful to me. That's what your brand is, what other people think of you. And so I have a tendency to focus on the big impacts. Body language is 60% of your communication. Voice is 30%. So that's why I think, in-person guy is better than speaker guy. Speaker guy is better than text writing guy. And so that's why I say those things, because it's human nature. And so the answer then is, if the outcome is what you're trying to achieve, which is what other people think of you and helping them understand what you do so that they can think what you want them to think about you. It's kind of sorry, that's down the road, right? What does Justin think of Andy? What does Sherilyn think of Andy? What does Netta think of Andy? Then you reverse engineer all those steps so that you start talking about the same things, presenting yourself in the same way, having the same kind of look, feel, cadence, tone, activity, message, caring. All of those things matter. And they're all, for me, they're all intentional, because my purpose is to present the image of who I truly am. This is who Justin and I, we've sat and had dinner together. I'm the same guy on right here as I am sitting there one-on-one having dinner. And that is, to me, that is the easiest way to become authentic, is just to document the stuff you're doing, talk about the things you are working on and interested in. And then that translates into all those other things. But those other things are the important part, because that's what everybody else uses to think about you. So I reversed all engineered that. So when we go into the next few questions, I'll tell you what I do as a result of looking through that lens. Does that make sense?
It does. And I have some things to add about everything everyone said. But before I start, I just wanted to say hello to Shahruz. Thank you so much for your comment. Hello back to you. And if anyone else has questions, this is an interactive discussion. Please feel free to comment. So yesterday I was hosting, welcome back, Justin. I was hosting 2 spaces back to back, The Hunt and um, a new space in Unfeathered for builder files. And basically, the topics of branding were very prominent. We had people come in, pitch themselves, and I was very honest with one of them, one of the speakers, and I said, "Why you? What makes you so special? There's so much competition out there. Why would I give you my attention?" That's exactly what Sherilyn brought up. We need to, exactly what just Andy said, we need to reverse engineer the process. Do research. Find people that are similar to you, not exactly you, but similar to you or who you want to be, and reverse it. Look at their background. Look at the way they're dressed. Look at the way they carry themselves. Observe their body language. You need to, and I'm sorry to say it this way, monkey see, monkey do. Emulate, but add your touch to it. I'm not saying copy paste. No, learn and add your touch and your uniqueness to every single thing that you do. They have a foundation. You are going to use theirs to build yours. And I think Justin wanted, my co-founder Justin, I'll just say the job father because we have 2 Justins here to avoid confusion. The job father, Justin Thomas, is going to be the job father today, which is what he's known for in his brand, right? So if anyone thinks of, and he shared the story why he chose job father last week. But Justin, job father, please go ahead.
So I just wanted to, can you guys hear me okay? Is this a lot better? All right. Sorry about that, guys. I did want to show up, but I'm a poker player in that tournament I made it a lot longer than I thought. So I digress on that end. But I did want to piggyback on what you're saying. For instance, when I got into career coaching, yes, I had been a executive recruiter for 15 years, right? But when I first got into career coaching, I didn't know what people wanted to know. I didn't know the information I knew was valuable to others. So what did I do? I went to look at other career coaches, and I picked out what I agreed with and what I didn't. I looked at what people resonated with and what they didn't. And my intention was to be disruptive, right? Because a lot of career coaches are not recruiters by trade. So I had a different type of insight that they didn't. So just like Netta said, monkey see, monkey do, but not necessarily, right? It's you understand, you want to see what people are engaging with and then see what your superpower is. And it took me a while to kind of get that going, but I had no shame in copying and pasting what viral career coaches were doing at first, right? Just to get my name and my foot in the door. But once I embodied and understood what my superpower was, I was able to take that brand and create it as my own. There's another job father. I didn't know this when I created the name. I did not know it, right? He goes by Jermaine. His name is Jermaine. I forgot his last name. Netta knows him. He's a great guy. No issue with him. But his style is totally different than mine. And once by the time I figured out he existed, I had already embodied the brand of the job father. I didn't run away from it. I'm not backing away from it. It's because the job father is me. And the way that I present myself is totally different from the way he presents himself, but both of us are successful. So I just want to say, right, as long as you're not just copying and pasting and stealing somebody else's, whole aura and their whole vibe, it's okay to learn from other people, right? Just make it your own. And I think I've learned that from Andy. I've learned that from Justin the Ronin, right? I've even learned that from Netta. Just it's nothing wrong with copying and pasting, but you still have to make it your own. Just like when you use AI, don't just copy and paste. Use it as a tool to make you better. So I'll land my plane there, but I did want to piggyback on that. It's okay if you're just starting out and trying to figure out who you are, to do some A/B testing and see what works for you.
Let's go to the next topic. And this is still because I think that one of the most important parts is figuring out that one thing that Andy you keep talking about. What if, like me, you both, Andy, Sherilyn and I met yesterday, but um, the two Justins and Andy know me for at least 2 years, or know me pretty well by now. I have many things. I have community builder, potential DevRel. I have project management, release management. There's so many sides to me, right? When you're good at many things, how do you choose that one thing? How do you do that? What is your strategy for that? That's for everyone. Please go ahead. Because I'm sure
Yeah.
there's many other people like that too. The same dilemma.
Yeah, great question. And yeah, I'll just say that usually where you're getting the most interest, like where people are talking and telling you like, hey, Netta, you're really a great community builder. Like you need to lean in on that, right? So first thing is listening to the indicators of other people. That's number one. Number two, I always like to look at the numbers, right? Where am I getting these key signals of more impressions, more likes, more revenue? Right. These are things that and oh, I did this campaign and I captured 50 email addresses versus I launched another campaign and it only generated me 5. So you're clearly onto something, right? So you need to pay attention to the data, right? Data makes decisions. Data drives decisions. And then the other thing I'll say is really just how are you differentiating yourself and standing out from the noise, because it is noisy. And so just a quick pro tip here, and I shared this on yesterday's space and I'll share it with everyone else. If you can demonstrate your skills, that's great, but you need to be likable. And Andy talks about it a lot. It's the person who's the most liked that ends up getting the job, right? That's a true statement. So yeah, your skills are great, right? You highlight those skills, but the person that's really going to get the job or the client who is the most liked. And here's a pro tip for how I do this is I do a quick 5 to 7 slide presentation on highlighting who I am, what I can do for them, and why I'm their ideal candidate to go with. And that's it. And I have a 90% close rate on clients and jobs. So yeah, like you have to do something different, right? You have to stand out. And those are some pro tips to do that. So Yeah, hopefully that's helpful.
But what if you're not likable, right? For me, I just I come across as really curt at times, and sometimes I'm just not likable, right? But I have found that the information I provide works. So when I get a client and they work with me, it's amazing. But how I come across sometimes online, or how I may come across in my speech, it turns some people off. So this is me asking. This is not me, the job father, asking as the expert. This is me asking you, as the fractional CMO expert, how, like, do I stay confident in who I am? Because I am making money, but you can always make more, right? But sometimes I'm just not that likable. And what do you say to that person who may think they're not that likable?
Yeah, so I'd say your vibe affects your tribe, and if somebody is not vibing with you, and that's why I really suggest that you do an acclimation call initially, just to see how everyone's vibing together, right? That's really critical. And if you're not that likable to that person, you may be really likable to the next person, and that's fine, right? That's fine. So in my experience, no one bats 1,000, right? So part of the numbers game is really going from call to call to call to finding out those, what I call the 3% who are ready to buy, right? There's always 3% of people ready to buy right now. The other 97% are just people that you nurture and you stay top of mind with via social media or your email newsletter. And our job is to find that 3%. That's what I try to do. I strive to do that every day, right? You always got to do prospecting, whether it's on the job side or client side, and you got to stay active with that. And you want people, and I remember I launched a campaign for my previous employer, and we went to a conference, and they came up to me and they said, "Man, Justin, we see you guys everywhere. You guys are doing things right." That's what you want, right? You want to go into a room of people and say, "Wow, Job Father, I see your brand everywhere." That's what you want. So yeah, but great question.
That makes sense. And to anybody that's listening, what I can say is that I've had to get to the point where I can turn down clients, right? Whether I need money or I don't, whether if I need money or I don't need money. But whenever I take clients that I'm really not too sure about, it's always friction, right? It's either they don't want to pay the full price and I'm working extra hard to get them placed, or they just don't vibe with my style and they don't listen. So they end up not being successful. So anybody out there, just get comfortable with who you are, right? And understand your niche, because there, Justin said, there are some clients who needs my type of coaching. I hate the word no fluff because it's very AI, but that's how I am. I tell you how it is and not how it should be. So anybody out there, just learn your lane and stick to it, and the clients will come. Now I'm starting to get word of mouth referrals for the type of clients that I need and the type of clients that need my service, and it's paying off like exponentially. So thank you for that advice. And anybody else out there listening, just find your lane and be confident and comfortable with who you are.
Yeah, and let me ask you a question, Justin. How long did it take you to get to this point of where you can become more selective? I would love to hear that.
This is month 14. So 14, I just started getting here at the end of August. So about 12 months, a year. It took me a year, right? At first I was taking every client and being very annoyed, but now I'm very comfortable in my
Proud of
skin.
you. I've been there for at least 8 months, 10 months of it.
Yep.
Very proud of you, Justin. I think Andy wants to say something, and then we'll go to Sherilyn after, if that's okay. Yes, Andy, go ahead.
You should get this book. It's called Malloy's Popularity Game. It's out of print, but you can buy them. You can find them on eBay or whatever for like $3, $5, $10, $20. This book teaches you. This is the guy that wrote the Dress for Success book, right? John T. Malloy. And this book teaches you that essentially everyone is likable, and you do things that make you unlikable. You do this. Here, I'll give you some. Ready? Right? If I'm doing that stuff while you're talking, the first thing you're going to look at, and anybody watching is like, Andy doesn't care. Andy thinks that, right? and I become instantly unlikable. If while you're talking, my body language is doing, yeah, and I'm doing this, like pointing towards the door, I know it's stupid, right? This book shows you scientifically why that happens, what matters. Why does it make you unlikable? Why do people not want to talk to you when you do that kind of stuff? And if you stop doing those things that make you unlikable, then you're instantly more likable. And the interesting thing is, think of it this way, okay? Show me a 3 or 5 year old kid who's excited about whatever that everybody doesn't like. Everybody loves those 3-year-old, 4-year-old kids. You know why? They haven't stopped. They haven't done anything that makes you dislike them. They're not like, oh, I don't want to talk to you anymore. You're mean to me. I'm going to go over here. Right? That's 6, 7, 8-year-old behavior. But 3 or 4-year-old behavior is like, hey, you want to go paint stuff? Yeah, I can paint. I love doing painting. Let's go. Right? And see, everybody's
my nephew. He's
you're
5.
all laughing. Yes. You're all smiling because you know what I'm saying is true. And so the point is, you have to get back to that kind of behavior and engagement with other humans so that you can become more popular in their mind, right? Because see, likability isn't about, it's about what you guys think of me. So.
Yeah, perception begets reality. And can you say the name of that book one more time for me, Andy?
It's called Malloy's Popularity Game.
Perfect.
By John T. Malloy, the guy that wrote Dress for Success. So look for Dress for Success. Look up all his books. The guy's fantastic. He passed away a couple years ago in COVID, but fantastic. Every one of his books is research-based, not just opinion-based. But he sent people out, said, watch this, do this, see how people react to you, and then record it. And then over time, he took all this data and produced these kind of things. So
data. It's brought up again.
Malloy's Popularity Game. By the way, I'm not affiliated, although I have tried. I got to tell you, I have tried to reach out. So if anybody's watching this and they know the family who publishes these books, please have them get in touch with me, because I want to turn this into an audiobook and sell it. They can have all the money, or I can get back paid whatever it costs me to do it. But I want this as an audiobook so I can have it playing in the background all the time, but they don't have one. And totally should be an audiobook that everyone should. It will go as soon as I can get one or make one or create it or whatever. It's going right into my rotation along with Alex Hormozi's books and Gary Vee's books and this book.
Andy, I would pay to hear your voice on an audiobook.
Okay, I'll see what I can do on that. But I got to get permission to do that. So I've tried reaching out to the family and the publishers. And
maybe your personal brand will help. Never know.
We'll see.
All right.
Anyway,
let's go to share. Yeah.
So
go ahead.
Under likability, it is absolutely true. If there's a group of candidates and they like you and they don't like everybody else, you will get the offer. And these little simple things, the simple things in here, help you in that way and help you do your best part to put yourself in the best position. You don't always win no matter what, but you should always give yourself the best opportunity. So that's what I mean.
Let's say we save the best for last. Sherilyn.
Well, this is so great, right? And yeah, being likable is so important, right? But going to the question, how do you choose if you have this skill, this skill, this skill, this skill, and this skill, and you've gone through and you've kind of got some experience in all of them. You're like, well, where do I focus? I'm kind of at ground zero. I'm rebuilding my brand, right? Which one do I choose? Which one becomes my signature? Am I a project manager? Do I know when to let things go? All those things like that. Like, for example, and I was going to try to find a quote in this book. Because, Seth Godin, the market is never wrong, right? Whatever you want to do, that's great. But what does the market want from you? And what is it looking for? And what tests right? And then you have to look at your skills. Like, for example, on the likability scale, I always listen to those with interest, because part of my job for years was not necessarily being the likable person in the room. Just imagine a room full of C-suites or VPs that are siloed and they have different directions they want to go. And the company's trying to get them to all move in one lane, but they're like, no, I have my budget, I'm going to do this. And the other one's like, I have my budget, I'm going to do that. They're all doing their thing. And the company's saying, no, we have to get you guys, like, for example, onboarding. We need you guys on the same onboarding. And we need it to work across everything. And we need to take it from 2 weeks to 24 hours. We need to, you know what I mean? We need to do this. And we just need to make these changes, right? So like, I'm a person that would sit down with 5 people who don't want to work together, that are like highly influential, and say, okay, what works? What's the plan? You guys, I'm here because for 5 years you haven't agreed. Right. And so you're going to sit down with me and my team. You know, there's a team with me that's making things happen, but we're going to change your mind. And not only that, and after we change your mind and implement it, your stock is going to go up. Your sales are going to go up, everything, because we're training your entire team to just make an about face and go pivot, go, and it's going to catch and it's going to work. And so initially when you get into those things and you're talking, you have 2 or 3 people who don't like you, right? But you still have to hold your lane, and you still have to say, okay, this is the goal and this is why I'm here. And then you have to like move in and get the buy-in, right? And as you get the buy-in, all of a sudden it becomes their idea, and you have to let it become their idea, right? And then they're just going to go and they're going to take it. But that's been what's really fun. So the thing is where can you create change in a room? Right? Like, what are people willing to pay you for? Because there's things that people may not be willing to pay me for, because it's like, I'm a writer, but lots of people write. And why should I write for them if they're a writer? Right? That's almost insulting. You know what I mean? It is insulting, actually. But with those things, it's like, for example, my skills, I'm a bit of a mirror, right? You're going to see yourself pretty clearly, and you're going to see different pathways really clearly. And that's the thing, right? And so that's what people choose. That's when people want to pay me money, right? And so you have to find, whoever you are, whatever you do, what's that thing that the market says, yes, you can do 100 things. I've written a dozen books. I've won awards, right? But that doesn't mean I'm going to write for you, because you can write. And what can I give you that helps you write what you are meant to write? Because every ideas come to all of us, right? And if it came to you, it's meant to be expressed through you. I'm a believer in that. So, but yeah, those were my thoughts. And just, yeah, and I really wanted to, the Job Father made such a great point. When you move into consulting, being able to say no to the wrong clients, I think that's a beginner's mistake. I've made that mistake where you're just like, I'm new, I'm just going to take every client, I'm going to make it work. Let's see how this does. And then you get clients where you find out why they didn't work, and that they're kind of trying to tie your reputation to theirs and kind of make you the fall guy for their thing. And you're like, ooh, this is not a good way to launch, right? So that's really super important as well. So yeah, all of the thoughts. I don't know if I have anything to add to what these guys said, except for sometimes, you know, just follow the market. What do you do that people are willing to pay you for? And where's the thing where you move the needle, right? That's the essential thing.
Great point, Sherilyn. Justin, go ahead. I see you on mute. Go ahead,
Yeah,
Justin.
go ahead, Justin. I'll go after you. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Sherilyn. Some great points. Like, the market dictates everything, and that's really important. And you know, you really got to stand on your track record, right? And if you don't have a track record, you got to build that, right? Like, that's the ultimate thing. Like, people want to see who you are, what you can do for them, and your track record, right? Like, what's your experience? And if you don't have enough experience, you got to build that, right? And so the reality is, I want to share, though, that the job market, and I've never seen this before, like, ever, okay? If you look at the amount of jobs that are out there, and seeing other people on their LinkedIn that, you know, open to work, right? It's never been this high that I've seen, okay? And and maybe you guys can share the sentiment, but what this tells me is that because of the toughness of the job market, and thanks to AI, is the only thing is your personal brand. It comes down to your personal brand. You got to lean and stand on that. And I literally applied to 1,800 jobs to get one job. And it took me about 18 months to land a job. Okay, that's the reality. And so I'm just, you know, I don't want to sugarcoat things out there for everyone. I'm like Justin, like, I won't tell you what you want to hear. I'll tell you what you need to hear. Okay. And so it is tough. So there is a thing called forced entrepreneurship right now. And so ideally, yes, do you want that next job in tech or that next job as a community manager or social media? Yes, you want that. But as you're applying, you need to make sure that you're building your personal brand and you're building your side hustle and you're helping clients and getting to that outcome that they're looking for. So Sherilyn hit on it. It's like, what is the outcome that you can help them achieve? What does that transformation look like? And be very clear about this, right? It's very clear. Like, I'm going to increase revenue by 10x in 90 days. I'm going to increase revenue by 10x in 90 days. Is that something that you're looking for? Yes, I want that. And so just be very clear about the outcome that you can help that employer or potential employer and or client hit, because these are things they really care about. And it all comes down to, data at the end of the day for me. And so, yeah, hopefully that's some helpful tips. But yeah, positioning, last thing I want to mention, this is big. So the positioning, your positioning is everything. I actually had to hire a positioning coach like 2 years ago because I really struggled from my mindset of really helping others build their personal brands online, celebrities, authors, coaches. But when it came to my own personal brand, I had a challenge, right? I hit a roadblock. And so then I got this coaching, and this is why mentorship and coaching is really important. You got to work with somebody who's already done it and has that track record. And so once I got this coaching, everything opened up for me. Everything opened up. I established my personal brand. The Revenue Ronin was born, and the rest is history. So now, building a great brand here, $1 million brand, building it in public, and yeah, like that's what it's all about. Positioning. You have to position yourself accordingly. So thank you.
I'll make it very quick. All right. Remember when I approached you and Rohit when we were working for the X Summit conference together, and I was like, what do I do with my brand? This was back in November 2023. And you said the connector, and I took your inputs because he's really good in branding, Rohit, and so are yourself. So have a board of mentors and people who are like, and if you don't have that, leverage your talents and do an exchange of services with someone else. You know, become friends with other people, expand your network. Because if I need a branding expert and I just have a one off question, I'll ask this panel right here. They're phenomenal. The other thing I wanted to say is data does not lie, but you also need to be true and honest with yourself. Don't pick anything just because the market says it's good. Do you enjoy talking about this? Do you enjoy like working in this? That's the other thing I wanted to say. It's a marriage between what you love, what the market says is good, and what other people are telling you you're good. You have to find it's a trifecta. You need to find that match. And the other thing I will add is open your mind and your heart. Be open to perspectives. I had a call with my career coach, Bez Rangifo, who actually appeared on 2 of our live streams. Phenomenal career coach, just like Justin. Not saying he's not. He's phenomenal too. That he leverage your current talents, see what's out there, see what your current talents are, the pool of things, and go and talk to other people and see what else is out there. Bez introduced me to um, a title, something consultant, creative something consultant. But long story short, you need to know languages, you need to know cultures, and that's what I'm already. I speak 3 languages. I've been in a plethora of different cultures, and I connect with people all the time. That's the title he introduced me to, and it just opened my mind. So have coffee chats, have those discussions, but set a deadline for yourself. You don't need to have it right instantaneously. Do something. It's okay to pivot. You don't need to have it all perfect, but let's keep going. Um, you figured it out. I think we
Hold
talked
on,
between
give me
we
give me
might
one.
be different.
Can
Yeah,
I
sure.
hop on
Oh,
top
sorry, Justin.
really quick? So
Yeah, sure,
I
sure,
just
sure. And then
I
we'll
just
go to
wanted
the
to
next.
piggyback on something that Justin the Ronin said. which really resonates. And okay, guys, this is not just about job seekers, all right? If you're a job seeker and you've been in a job market without a job for 6 or 7 months, your back is against the wall financially, I get it, right? But, or however, if you're a professional, even if you are a job seeker, there is a point that you need to invest in yourself. There's a point for getting coaches, right? I got a coach 2 years ago. I paid $2,000, and guess what? My coach provided everything I needed in the first 8 minutes of our meeting. And she was like, well, that's it. She asked me a couple of questions, and she was like, that's your superpower. That's where you need to focus. This is where she asked me a lot of questions that I wouldn't have asked myself. I could have, but I didn't know where to put the screw, as they say, if you know what I mean, right? I didn't know to think that way. But she asked me a couple of questions. She said, Justin, I'm not scamming you, but this is it. That's what you need to work on. And guess what? That was 2 years ago, and it took me an entire year to put that in practice. But once I put that in practice, the job father was truly born. So I say all of that to say, I'm not trying to sell you on anything. We have a lot of coaches on this call, but if you're watching, if you can pay $250 to get your hair done, or $150 to go get your nails done, or $50 to get a haircut, or $150 to go on a date or to the movies, you can take that money and invest in yourself. Okay, because coaches, even if they tell you everything you need to know in the first 5 minutes they speak with you, you're not paying for that 5 minutes. You're paying for the knowledge that they've acquired to get you to that point. So really think about investing in yourself, because as I said last week, I didn't make this up myself. And I still haven't remembered the young lady's name, but I was at a conference and she said, companies don't just have one client. So why should you just have one stream of income, right? So really think about that and invest in yourself, guys. It's not a scam. Even if they do fix your problem in 5 minutes, you couldn't have done it, right? I couldn't have done it. So, and I've gotten that $2,000 back tenfold since then, right? It took me a while to put it in practice, but you pay for yourself, you invest in your coaching, and then you have to do the work. So I just have to say that, and I'll land my plane there. We can go on, but that is very huge. And a lot of people are online saying all these things are not needed, but guess what? You've wasted 6 months trying to figure it out, and you still don't know what you're doing. If you could have come to Justin, you could have come to Andy, you could have come to myself, you could have come to Sherilyn, could have come to Netta, and it could have gotten figured out in about a week, if not one meeting. So I'm sorry I started preaching there, but I see a lot of people
I'm
struggling.
not
And
a coach, by the way. Just wanted to make sure that's loud and clear.
well, Netta
I
is a
moderate
connector.
the discussion.
Netta is a connector who hasn't started charging for her connecting yet, but she should. But I digress. I'll stop because I can go on and on. Invest in yourself,
Thank
people.
you.
We're not out here just trying to take your money. We know what we're doing, and we've also invested in ourselves to get to this point that we're at. So go ahead to the next point, or anybody else that wants to
Coaches
And I love that.
have
I just want to throw my
coaches.
favorite quote you just said. I
Go ahead.
didn't know to think that way, right? That's the key thing of just sort of like what the investment is. A good coach is going to pivot that mindset and be like, it's going to unlock and go, I didn't even know to look or think or see that way. So I just love that quote. I wrote it down. That's perfect.
Coaches have coaches too, and they invest in themselves. My career coach has invested thousands of dollars on coaches. My life coach has invested a lot. She has 3 coaches. So I'm saying that what is the cost of not having a coach? Those 6 months without a salary, the anguish, the anxiety, the stress, those are things you can't put a price on. Save yourself the headache, everyone. So we will skip the content about how to work on your LinkedIn and the brand because we had 2 spaces and we could maybe do a separate live stream for the sake of time. But you figured out the one thing, maybe 2 things that you want to be known for. And I know Andy wants to talk about something else before we move on to the next step of what you put in you start at the end and work backward. Would you like to talk about that?
Yeah. So
Andy?
if you don't,
Thank
yes, if you don't know where to go, if you don't know what is your superpower, and by the way, most people who are in this situation have 10 things that they could do, right? They have one superpower and they can apply it in all these other areas. The easiest way to do it is to start at the end. If I could move ahead 5 years and you can have anything you want, write it down, give me a list, describe your life. Okay, take that and now work backwards. What are all the things that align towards that life? What are the things that align towards your conversation, towards your goal, towards your objective, whatever it is, right? Whether it's to be free or to make money or to whatever your choice is, choose that first. Then it's easy to align your superpowers, because everybody has them. It's easier to align them towards that goal. And most people try to align a superpower like saying, well, I'm tall and I can pick up heavy things. Yes, that's a superpower because I'm way bigger than my wife and I can pick up heavy. That's not the point. The point is, what do I do with it? Do I use it to produce the result in life that I want or not? So it's easier to start with the end in mind and then align all those things there. And I use the glasses analogy because I have to read with glasses. So if like you're seeing like this and you see your life and you go, well, I'm not exactly sure. And then you put your glasses on and then everything comes into focus. Use those glasses and then use those glasses every time you're making a decision about what action to take, what thing to move forward, what thing to learn next, what thing to double down on, what things to just, and here's the other part. If you're looking this way, that means I can't look those ways or that way. I can only look this direction. And so then everything else that makes me, every squirrel, every distraction needs to go in the bucket pile and like, okay, later, until I achieve this one thing, then that stuff's cool. Like I love cool cars. Cool. I'll get a cool car when I have enough money to worry about which cool car to get. Until then, focus.
Focus is important. And Justin, the job father, made some slides last week, and he said curate content before creating. So we're going to talk about, your one thing. Now you need to start telling people about it, right? How? Word of mouth, creating content. And that's where the focus comes in. The only thing I wanted to emphasize on before I pass the microphone to our lovely panel here is you don't need to be an expert. You don't need to be a perfectionist. I wrote an article on LinkedIn, the keynote speech at Commit Your Code given by Aaron Francis. He talks at length about building in public, and he's not perfect. He wasn't perfect in the beginning. So that one thing you want to focus on, you don't need to be an expert. You just need to do it. And Andy, whenever it's your turn to speak, I would love if you can talk about how you weren't an expert in AI, but you started to talk about it on X. We also had a comment from Will Carter, one of the moderators at the Startup Circle on X. Phenomenal person. Thank you so much for your kind words. And Leo as well. Thank you so much for letting us know. Please feel free to comment or ask any questions that you may have regarding personal branding. We're here to help you. Okay.
Hey, I did
So
want to remind it, Justin. Justin, I know you said you had a hard stop. Do you have anything to say before? Did you want to talk about anything before that time comes?
No, I'm good right now. Yeah, appreciate it. I got a hard stop at 10:45 here, so I have to head over to church at 11. So but yeah, thank you guys. Really
thank
enjoying
you.
the conversation.
We'll try to really jam pack the value in the next 15 minutes. Thank you. I'm sure our audience appreciates it. So once again, you figured out your one thing or two thing you're good at. How are you going to translate that? What are you going to do? What are your next steps? Let's start with the revenue Ronin. Justin, Results Ranch. Thank you.
Yeah, so the next steps is you got to connect with the right people. You got to connect with the right people. Your ICP, as Andy calls it, your ideal client profile, or your ideal, what I call the Dream 100 list of employers, right? So if there's like, hey, I really want to work with these companies, it aligns with my values, I really like what they're doing, I'm interested in their products or services. So find your ICP of your clients and speak to them with content, and or find your ideal Dream 100 list of employers and really get to know them better and create content around that. And let me give you some pro tips. So if there's an employer that I really want to work for, don't just think that you can just apply to the job and like cross your fingers. No, you got to go above and beyond, right? You got to message them on LinkedIn. You got to send an email. You got to pick up the phone. You may even have to drive to the location. Why? Because this is standing out. This is doing something different. How are you going to be extraordinary, not just ordinary, compared to the other job candidates? You have to answer that question. As far as the client side, your content needs to be on point and speaking to that ICP about the problems that they're having and how you helped overcome them based on your track record. And just creating content that not only connects, but converts. And this can be an art and a science. Okay, perfect example here, campaigns, I've run a lot of campaigns, and not all campaigns convert. Actually, majority of campaigns don't convert. But when you have the perfect alignment of positioning, addressing the problem, and speaking to the right ideal client profile on the right medium, the right audience, everything, comes to that point of inflection. And then it's like, boom, you get that conversion, you get that DM inbound, right? That's what we call an inbound lead. When it's like, hey, Justin, what you said really resonated with me. I just wanted to, let you know, and boom, that's great. And then how you convert them is, they'll inquire, they'll say like, hey, how can I work with you? What does that process look like? And don't assume that everyone knows how to work with you. Okay, this is a big mistake people make. They're like, oh, this person knows how to get in touch with me and work with me. Like, no, don't expect that. Don't assume that. That's the worst thing you can do. You want to treat everyone like they're brand new and they have no idea how to work with you. And you need to make it a very frictionless process, and you need to handhold them through the journey. This is what we call the user journey or the buyer journey. And just take them down the path of, well, here's what the most other successful clients that I've worked with, here's what I did for them. And so let me kind of walk you through that process. Does this resonate with you? Do you have this problem in your business? Yeah, I do. Okay, great. So, and another pro tip, I can't stress this enough, is have your arsenal of testimonials and transformations that you've already done for others so that you can put them into that box, right? So, I noticed Sherilyn, she works with CEOs and they're not converting these campaigns, right? So, okay, well, here's a case study that I did where I took a campaign and I helped them convert a 3% extra by doing these extra touch points as part of the campaign. So that resonates with her. That's perfect for her. And so you need to have these different case studies that you can just pull out of the pocket that people can resonate with based on their problems. So yeah, those are just some quick pro tips, but you got to differentiate. Mm-hmm.
And that's why you need to join the Ronin community, guys. Listen, this is just a touch. If you don't know, Justin gives you everything you need, and
He kills it every time.
and also the people in his community that he surrounded himself with, Andy, other people in the startup circle, and other Christelle,
Timo, Kevin, Will,
everybody in that
Vivi,
circle is
so
a
on and so forth.
mastermind. And listen, if you join on X during the day in the morning for Justin's session, and then in the afternoon at it's 3 p.m. Eastern time, I think that's 12 PST. Andy has a great session as well. So I'm just going to give the shout outs because I've learned so much. And even though I have a lot going on, so even though I haven't been able to directly continuously invest, I've definitely passed it on word of mouth, and it's you always get something every time you hear these guys speak.
Both are recorded. You could listen in after. Thank you.
Thank you for those kind words, Justin. Yeah, really appreciate it. And just on a mission to make a difference here. And I want us all to win, right? We all want to win. We want to win with our employers. We want to win with our clients, and let's just keep winning. And the three key things is community, accountability, and access. That's what people want. That's what they crave, right? And so and you got to put in the work, as Justin said earlier, right? And if you don't want to put in the work, then there's really, and this is the three types of ways people work with me typically, is they do a do-it-yourself, right? Where I give them the plan and they execute the plan. There's a done with you where it's like, okay, I'll do it with you. I'll jump on a call twice a month, right? I charge $500 an hour. That's my hourly rate. If you're like, hey, calculate what can I do for an hour with Justin? You just want to work with me, it's $500 an hour. And then So that's the done with you. And then there's the done for you, where it's like, hey, I don't want to touch this campaign, Justin. I need a campaign launched. I need some ads run. I don't want to do it. So, what does that look like? And then I run it through my agency. So just know that you got to decide what types of offers you want to have and bucket it accordingly. But yeah, thanks so much, Justin. Really appreciate it. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Hey, Sherilyn, are you?
Yeah.
How long have you been doing what you're doing? I'm sorry I missed the intro there. How long have you been doing?
Yeah, so I have been connected with, I just want to shout out these guys just like you did, because they are kings at showing up, right? They show up day after day, they deliver value. And that's actually how I met Netta. And like I've met with them, let's say I've been following them since for several months now, right? So I'm in their community. I'm in those spots as well. And so that's where I am. And that's how I met them. And I just want to vouch for them as well, that they show up, they do what they say they're going to do. They're about what they say they're about, and they're about moving that needle for themselves and for others, which is so cool. And I love that energy, right? Your vibe is your tribe. And so it's like just their energy is like I'm like, okay, let's go. You know what I mean? So that's the answer to that question. As far as the other one, Netta, what was the question again?
So the question is, you found what you're good at. How do you want to become known? What are your next steps when it comes to creating content or putting yourself out there? Long story short.
Yeah, I'm going to address just the beginner, the person starting at scorched earth or whatever, right? The first thing you want to do is create a portfolio that demonstrates your claims. And you want to externalize your internal expertise, right? Just exactly what these guys have done, right? Where the job father can come in and he can vouch for this. I can come in and I can vouch for them. I can see what they do, right? And then because with that, you can create a brand architecture that demonstrates the value tied to your work, right? So they're doing all these things. How does that impact you? When can they come in and be the person that you need? You don't need Justin all the time. You don't need Andy all the time. You don't need the job father all the time, right? You don't need Netta all the time, and you don't need me all the time. But if you're going to tune into us, or if you're going to spend an hour with us, why? And why is that? And with Justin's right. It's like, if it's not worth $500 for you to spend an hour with him, maybe you're not ready to spend an hour with him, and that's fine, right? So, but I would say at the beginning, operate as client zero for your own product, right? Build in public, because building in public builds trust. People, they don't mind if they see your learning curve. They learn with you, right? And then you can demonstrate your skill. You can build your portfolio. You can develop the brand architecture, give it a voice, give it something that people recognize. And then people know, based on that portfolio that you've put out there, based on the thing, like you go back and Andy has done 50 days in a row, or you know what I mean? And Justin comes in and he shoots it. So it's like, these are people that are available. They're there. You can talk to them publicly. They're completely open about what they do. You know what I mean? And you can speak to people who've worked with them. You can see that people have worked with them across years and months and everything like that. And you can see the outputs. And that's really, really key, is building that. So I would say, yeah, you got to start as client zero, create your portfolio, demonstrate your architecture, and why choose me?
And Andy, I'm sorry, Ned, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
No. I was going to say Andy's next, but if you have something to say, please go ahead. No problem.
Before Andy goes, I just need you guys to know Andy's blueprint is amazing. And I do implement a lot of it in my teachings to my client as a job father, right? I'll just be honest. And I do give credit where credit's due. I don't just steal his information, right? I tell them, and I tell people to tune in. But Andy, before you speak, man, I just want you to know your blueprint is amazing. And anybody that's listening that hasn't followed his newsletter or his LinkedIn post, I repost it every time I see it. Sometimes the algorithm on LinkedIn has been kind of weird lately, so I don't see it until like it's 3 or 4 days old. But if you see me repost it, check out his newsletter, sign up. Trust me, the blueprint is for the job seeker, the entrepreneur, the solopreneur, everything. So I'll land my plane there before Andy speaks. But people, Andy is the real deal when it comes to building your brand as a person, right? just as a genuine human being, whether you're in your career and happy, so that's professional development within your career, it's whether you're trying to find a job or whether you're starting your own business, right? So go ahead, Andy. I just had to give you more flowers because your blueprint is amazing, man.
Well, awesome. I'm going to have to clip that and use that as my intro in the future. That's awesome. Thank you. Okay, so the first question was about if you figured out what you do or what you want to do, and now how do you get known for that? There's two ways to do it. If you have done it and have evidence and proof that you've done it, just tell people what you did. I mean, tell them everything. And if you don't know and you're trying to figure out something, then ask people publicly, how do you do this? For example, I started with AI John Allen and I started a year ago in October. So in September, I started. So last year, I had never done a space. In September, I started joining spaces with The Hunt and other places and started talking. And they're like, hey, you should do more of this. I'm like, okay. So then I did more. And then I thought this AI thing's really cool, but I'm kind of a neophyte. I don't know if I'm using it right. So John and I just started a space and we called it AI in Business. And all we did was talk about, hey, how do you do this? How do you do this other thing? How does that work? Oh, he said this. Can I connect those things together? And then I just, for 200 episodes, right? And I think John went for like 2 hours every 2.5 hours. It's 500 hours. 500 hours of that show. We did 200 episodes. And then since then, I've done 50 episodes on personal branding. And you're probably going to get the same kind of evolution. You think it's going to be this thing. And then you realize, ooh, yeah, close, but maybe it's over this way a little bit. The CEO of your life. Oh, well, you know what? People don't want the whole thing. They don't want a whole entire course on likability. They don't want a whole entire course on communication. They don't want a whole course. You know what they want? They want branding. They're like, how do I become known to everybody else so that I can help accelerate my goals? So I just said, I don't need all the rest of that stuff. And when they ask about it, I'll bring it back in as it applies to the lens of branding. And so you don't have to be an expert. What you need to be willing to be is curious. So I started by asking Justin, hey, Justin, okay, how do you do this thing? How does the marketing work? And he would tell me, okay, do this, do that. I realized, oh, I'm already doing that. I just didn't have the vocabulary to describe the things I'm doing. So he helped me with the vocabulary. Now, when I talk about it, it sounds like I'm an expert. But if you listen to the first ones, I was like, I don't understand how this all works. And I would just ask. And I ask everybody all the time, what about this? Are you doing that? How's this going to go? Oh, well, might want to think of it this way or change your mindset. But the bottom line is, you can start a space knowing nothing about whatever the topic is. Be curious, ask people to join. When they join, ask them questions and they'll talk to you. That's it. It is as simple as that. I'm not saying that it's not scary or crazy. Anyway, let's give Justin's got to go. And I just want to
Justin,
say
any last words for us? Thank you so much for coming today.
Yeah, thank you, guys. I wish I could stay here, but I gotta go to church with the family here on Sunday. But yeah, listen, it's been great. I really appreciate the invitation. Again, I've known Netta since my first time on X. She was one of the first Spaces hosts that I went into, The Hunt, and so thank you, Netta. It's been a great friendship, and same, Justin. It's been great getting to know you, man. I'm hope you're healing on the leg, and got to watch that flag football there. But I didn't know you did poker as well. Okay, yeah, man. Oh man, it's like we try to live through our youth, man, even in this older age, and it's tough, man. The body is not made like it used to be, So, but I appreciate you, and you're building $1 million brand right alongside me, and so yeah, keep up the great work that you're doing, and all the great work that you're helping people with, and same with you, Netta. And Andy, it's been great having you as my co-pilot in these daily spaces. It's been great. Sales and Marketing Mastery. These are the two biggest things that any business needs or personal brand is sales and marketing. Because why? You're selling yourself. At the end of the day, what are you selling? The product? You're selling yourself. Okay. Let's just be honest. And so just embrace it. Embrace sales. You got to just say, hey, you know what? I'm in sales, whether I want to be or not, because I'm selling myself. Okay. And then Sherilyn, it's been great getting to know you, and thank you for all your contributions. And yeah, you're just a lovely person, and I appreciate your energy on the spaces. And yeah, guys, continue. You're in great hands here with this panel. And just
What
remember,
is
at
it
the
you
end of our
say at the end
lives,
of every space? Please,
at
can
the
you
end of
say
our
it for us?
yes, and just remember, guys, at the end of our lives, we'll ask ourselves 4 simple questions: Did I live? Did I love? Did I matter? And did I make a difference? Until next time, keep making a difference. Build that mind, build that body, build that business, build that bank account, and most importantly, build that legacy. So stay hungry and stay humble. We'll see you guys at the top. All right. Much love, guys. Peace.
Love it.
Thank
I
you
love
so
it,
much.
Justin. Thank you so much. Be blessed. Have a good time at church, man. Thanks for
All
joining.
right. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All
We
right. Bye, guys.
appreciate you. Man, that was a killer closing. Like, he did such a phenomenal
I've been
job.
trying to chat
We actually
GPT
Right.
a
need to
closing, but
clip
I can't
that.
find
We need to
anything that's
clip
good.
that too.
That's his
Okay.
closer. No, it's so good.
Yeah, he's really good. And he said something, and Sherilyn will go straight to you right after. He said something, selling yourself. Personally, sales for me and putting myself out there, when it came to entrepreneurship, I was scared. And I will say the people around you, whether it's for your personal brand or for your life, will affect your psychology. It will affect your decision making. I have been to enough spaces from Andy and Justin, the Revenue Ronan, who just left, Christelle, another phenomenal person as well, who hosts spaces on X, and Jessica Tapia as well, to open my mind because I had no ego. I put my ego aside to open my mind and my perspectives to welcome the idea of entrepreneurship. So I don't know many things about it, but people, when you build, you inspire. It's not only for you, you're doing it for someone else as well. Someone else who's scared. And I love facilitating discussions. I leverage my existing talent of facilitating discussions, moderating conversations, bringing people together, and my network. And I did an experiment yesterday on X. It was an experiment. I did not advertise the space. I actually woke up at 9:20 a.m. I said, "This is the name," because I was pondering over the name for 2 days. "This is the name." I made a post, and that's it. 9:45 a.m., the space was live. Went on for 3 hours and a half. Thanks to Jessica Tapia, Andy joined, Justin joined. So many people joined. We had 455 listeners. Sean Charles was also co-hosting with me. I appreciate him, so was Jessica Tapia. So when you show up enough times in other communities, you build a reputation as the one who shows up consistently. And same thing goes when you are making your posts and your content. And there's something that Justin wrote, the Job Father, in the slides from last week. Curate content before creating it. When you're trying to build credibility in a space when you're not known yet, don't feel pressure to be the genius with all the answers, right? I'm not the genius when it comes to entrepreneurship, far from it, but I'm learning. Instead, be the signal booster. So leverage your existing talents and gifts to be the signal booster. Be the translator. And that's a talent that you need to, as you're building your brand, translate your existing experience into the new thing you want to be known for. That's where coaches, data, and feedback people give you comes in. Be the connector of dots. That also goes in when you know your brand, when you know what your worth is, when you know what you can do, you can connect the dots a lot more easier because you have confidence in yourself. So, step one, find the gold. Step two, share it with context. That was also mentioned by Andy earlier. And three, let it guide your content. And I'll add step four, be agile, which is what Andy brought up. Be receptive to feedback and pivot. You'll pivot a lot. That's a part of the branding game. So with that said, Sherilyn, anything to add?
I think that was super good. And you brought up such a good point when you first started talking about how, you know, putting the ego aside is Justin, his final thought was pretty on point. You are selling yourself, right? And I grew up, I have a cousin who's pretty well known. And just watching him grow up, because he's a piano player. And if you're a pianist, it's very hard to be paid to be a pianist, right? To go around the world traveling and being paid to perform. He gets to do that. That's his thing, right? But the effort that took, and the way that he even changed his name, they misspelled his name on a thing, and he just went with it and said, "That's how you spell my name now, and that's my branding," right? And just rolled with it because it was just a big enough campaign that it's like, do you fight this, or do you say, this is my stage name now? It's just John without an H, right? But he had to show up. It was one of those things of creating the opportunities, showing up for the opportunities, delivering up on the opportunities, you know, whether it was a stadium that had 2,000 people and only 100 seats sold, right? Giving that same concert, right? That gets everyone to land, that the next time you come back to that 2,000 seat stadium, it's full, right? It's just that thing of saying, yeah, people are showing up and they're seeing you. And every time you're on the stage, it matters. And people remember, and they decide whether or not they're going to say, yeah, we'll go to the next concert. Or, you know, we're not going to go, or that was kind of this, or, oh, good luck to him. You know what I mean? But it's just that thing of putting on the show and putting, to your, like you said, putting your ego to the side, right? You are there for your audience, and you're showing up for them, and you're giving them what they signed up for, being really clear in that deliverable, right? And saying, this is what you're paying me for. This is the trade-off, and really delivering on that 100%. And it does, because when we get in those positions, we tend to think like, oh, how do I look? Or, oh, you know, this many people didn't come, or whatever. I don't know, maybe we should cancel, or, you know what I mean? But just that thing of just showing up every day, no matter who shows up, no matter what, building, demonstrating what you have, making people listen and say, I want that again, or I would do that again, right? Because that's an amazing thing to have a piano concert and be like, I would go twice, you know, like how many people do that? You have to put on a real show, right? And so, but yeah, that was my thought right there. Because I think that's a huge hurdle, myself included, right? I think has to overcome this. Call it imposter syndrome. I kind of like that term because imposter syndrome a lot of times indicates that you don't have the skill, and that you're kind of faking the skill. And I think that you have, you know, if you have a skill or not, right? You know, if you can do a backflip, right? It's like if someone says do a backflip, you're not faking that, right? It's like you can do a back tuck, and then you get in a line with a bunch of people who can do a bunch of back tucks, right? And then from there, you know, that's where you're not an imposter. You can do the backflip, right? But from there, you have to say, go to what Justin was talking about and saying, this is why you're going to choose me to do the backflip. And this is, you know, this is what you're going to get. And here's the touch points. And this is why it's going to land every time. Right. And demonstrating that. So yeah, just that was a little bit of a thing, but I just thought you hit on a really good point when you first started talking about, yeah, there's an ego thing that has to be addressed to show up, especially if you don't know, you know, because either you're coming at things where it's historical, and you're saying, I've done this in the past with a team, and people are looking at you saying, oh, can you still do it? You know what I mean? And then, but then there's also the thing of like how the world works now, where it's like, what are you creating now? What can I look at now? You know, and can we dance, right? Are you already moving, and can I move with you? And so, yeah, that would be my thought on that.
It is a dance. Love that share. Thank you. Let's go to Andy, please.
Well, you asked about, you know, we've talked about a bunch of things, imposter syndrome and whatever, and how do you actually get known? So you've picked your thing. How do you get known? I've done a tremendous amount of research on this. What I found is the best way is for them to see you in person so you can talk to them in human being, right? The second thing is video. Third thing is your voice, hearing you. And the third thing is what they read about you. But here's the crazy thing. Let's just talk about creating content and posting it. On my blog, which if you go to my bio, you can find it. It's not about the blog. It's not about, but if I post 5 days a week, if I post 3 days a week, I get roughly 1,000 to 1,500 reads. If I post 7 days a week, not only do I get more reads because there's the 1,000, but I get more people per day. So if I post 5 to 7 times a week, I get 3,000 to 4,000 people to read it every day. If I post 3 days a week, I get 1,000 to 1,500 people to read it every day. Same content, just different frequency. And by the way, I have no idea if this is because of the algorithm or because people are interested or because they're no, I don't know. I really don't know. But I know this, I can prove that if I post 7 days a week, I get more people and more people per day. So if you want to be known for something, post consistently about a very narrow topic, talk about stuff that you're interested in, that you're good at, and do it over and over and over and over and over again. And the algorithms will feed your content to the right people. So in the past, you had to create a following so you could publish something and people, your following, would read it. Now the algorithm chooses who reads your stuff, and it likes consistency more than anything else. And consistency isn't just Andy posted something, but Andy posted something about personal branding, about the same thing, about over and the same topics, right? And we see everybody's nodding their head. So that's what you need to, if you want to get known for something, use the blueprint model, which is define your voice, choose a narrow niche audience, and choose your superpower, and then consistently produce content about that. If you do those 3 things, that's what the algorithm likes the most. And when the algorithm changes, I'll give you different advice. But until then, do it over and over again and just keep going until they change us.
Yeah. Listen, if you don't follow Andy on X, go follow him and listen to, help me out, Netta or Andy. It was Wednesday or Thursday where we were all on there. And Andy gave a specific blueprint of how he comes up with the topics, because it's not just about, okay, it is about posting every day and posting consistently. But Andy gave a very thorough playbook of how to come up with 30 to 40 days worth of content, right?
I can do it right now. It's simple. Okay. So
yeah.
you start with the blueprint, which is you have to have you have to define your voice. What do you want to be known for? You have to pick your ideal customer profile, your audience. Who do you want to talk to? And then the topics, right? We talked about that. Now the next step is you take the audience that you have and their biggest problems, and you take your superpower where it overlaps, and then you use that to create a 30-day content of ideas of things to talk about, which would match what you do, what your audience is interested in, and your superpower to solve the problems. I mean, and I've spent 18 months refining that process over and over and over again. But the bottom line is it's the same process and it doesn't change. The algorithm changes, I'll change it. But until then, if you just follow that advice, it will work.
Yeah. And so what Andy was saying there right there is what I talk about when I say story clouds, right? It's always dangerous to invent a term, but I made it that term just because AI is the new search, right? We're going from search engines to AI search, and AI looks at things differently. And the way I see it, and I've just worked with over the past year and stuff, it's because I'm a person that's like, most people are looking at AI saying, what can I do with it, right? And I've been looking at AI for like the past 18 months saying, what do you do? You know what I mean? Like, how do you, like, what are you doing? You know what I mean? Which is a little bit of a different thing, because it's like, then how can I use you? You know what I mean? Predictably, without drift, without errors, right? Like, because I'm one of those people where it's like, I look at the results and I'm like, I can't use this. You know what I mean? Like, where are you getting your information from, right? So story clouds are what Andy was just talking about right there, where it's like, he is a person. AI knows who he is. It knows his LinkedIn profile. It knows his X profile. It knows all of his anons. Every account that Andy has, whether it's in his name or an anon name, is like a different tab in a browser to an AI. It can see it all, right? And then it goes through and it has to look at all these things. So when you go and you say, who is Andy? You know, it's going to look at this huge map of information. And it's going to say, okay, what is the pattern, right? Like, what is the thing? What result do I choose and why, right? And it has logic. All the different AIs have different logic for how they do that. But Story Cloud's the thing that I'm playing with right now, is the idea that that's a two-party thing, that when AI is doing that search, you can create what AI is going to respond with, and you can actually choose the language to a degree. But it's an effort and something you have to do, but it's something that, right now I can look, and most people, you can look them up and it'll just say what it'll say. But what if in a few months you can actually make an AI response say pretty much exactly what you want it to say? And there are ways to do that. And Andy was pointing at it with what he was talking about right there. Yeah.
You can, but the thing is, you have to have the data and you have to do the work, right? You have to front load it, and everything you say.
Well, you have evidence, right?
There we go. Yeah. That's the word.
The AI uses evidence. It uses here's he said one thing, and then here he said this other thing 1,000 times. It's going to take the 1,000 times answer. And so if you just create starting today, and you create the thing you want to be known for 1,000 times, it's going to be very hard for AI to go, no. And if somebody says, no, he's not, he's that way. Like, yeah, I am. Look, I got hundreds and hundreds of hours of talking. I have thousands and thousands of posts. It becomes undeniable. And that's the whole point, and see, the cool thing is today, this is the only time in history when you can do this. This is the only time in history when you can curate your own answers. In the future, whatever you say is what it's going to track. And then but you have to then be cognitive about it all the time. Right now, you can choose to program it and to resonate that particular thing. And you can pivot and change. But the more you pivot, the less algorithmically benefit you get, because consistency wins. So consistency of topic, consistency of tone, consistency of timing, predictability, being predictable, dependable, consistent. That is what the algorithm amplifies the most. That's what you should focus on. And again, if you're not sure how to do that, just hit me up in the DMs. I'll help you out.
We could have an entire live stream on that if you're open to joining us again, if that's okay with Justin. Sorry, sometimes we make decisions on the fly.
So listen,
we're very agile in this community. Sorry, Justin, go ahead.
I'm sorry to cut you off. Number one, absolutely agree with that. That can be a whole space in itself. And I have to plug myself. That's what I did with the JobFather AI. Put it on over 500 hours and over 50 templates of who I am, how I am. And I constantly, on a weekly basis, am uploading new thoughts into the background, so that when my clients use it, I'm building up the what is it called?
The Story Cloud.
Yeah, the Story Cloud. So once you start to see my the street cred or the referrals that my clients are building for me, they'll all tell you when they talk to the JobFather AI, they feel as though they're talking to me, and they're getting the same sound knowledge. But on top of that, I know I joined late, but also, guys, I am on a kind of a vacation. My wife just texted me and said, "I see you're on live. Come now, we need to go eat." So
okay, no problem.
I have to go. I won't give any closing words because I cannot top the Ronin. I would just say thank you. I would just say thank you guys for joining. Sherilyn, it's very nice to see you face to face, to meet, make your acquaintance. Andy, thank you so much for joining our space, man. It's been amazing. And same with you, Sherilyn. And to my wonderful co-founder, thank you for putting this together. Again, I'm sorry I have to go. I know it was last minute that I was late, but I look forward to the next one, and we'll see you guys. I'll see you guys next time. Okay.
Send my regards to your spouse. Thank you so much for joining, and I hope your leg feels better.
It will, because I'm going to. I told you I just won a poker tournament, so it feels a lot better right now. But let me go take her to dinner, and I'll talk to you guys soon.
Go.
All right?
Thank you again. Thank you so much. Okay. We can go on and on and on, but I want to say how much I appreciate you both, and I want to respect your time. I apologize if we went over, but the conversation has been so fluid and so organic. I just wanted to also support Justin, who was just here with us, Justin Results French. Please subscribe to his newsletter. There's a lot of value. And I know for a fact, I don't know if Sherilyn has one, but I know Andy has one as well. So when we're going to do closing words now. Please let us know about, I know you have 4 newsletters, Andy. So please tell us about it. I'm going to keep this message from Justin up on the screen for anyone who wants to note it down. And we're going to be improving our YouTube channel and everything, and our LinkedIn, and we're going to have content around these live streams. We're working on that, we promise. But these links will also be available. Sherilyn, Any closing remarks? And can you also please share that book that you briefly gave us a little glimpse of earlier? Thank you so much. And
Oh,
any closing
yeah.
remarks.
So perfect. So this is Marketing by Seth Godin. This is a great one. I have several books. I think that learning from the best is really important, right? Having your pedigree and knowing where you're from. But yes, thank you for having me here. It has been so great to be here. Great conversation. These are great gentlemen. I've seen their profile pictures before, but I've never been in a room like this with them before. So it was a pleasure being here. And I think that this is such an important topic. I think it's super timely. I think you have a huge audience. And I think that everyone needs to be jumping in on this. This is the perfect time to invest in your personal brand, to go online and to be who you are, and to have a story, and to feed your story cloud, right? There's not a term for it yet. I'm making it up. Maybe someone bigger than me will make another one. But just that thing of like, who are you, what you bring, and making it so that AI starts using you as the source of you, right? As opposed to using all the other sources around you and talking around you and using other people's words or using generic words. I just think it's super important. So feel free to follow me, Sherilyn Live. I am a storyteller. I am going to help you tell your story in the cloud. And I'm with these other gentlemen here. They're just a great team, right? Everyone brings something different to the table. And it's a perfect time to invest in yourself, invest in some coaching. As the Job Father says, I didn't know how to see it that way, right? You talk about how people end up in this position because it's like there's this loss of confidence, right? Something happens and you kind of have to hit that bottom and say, like, where am I? But when you're there, you're not thinking straight. You may not have the right voices around you. There's a lot of obstacles, right? And so investing in someone who does see clearly, who sees you clearly, who can get you say, oh, I didn't see it that way, but now I do. And so you can make that move. So thanks for having us. This was a great topic. I hope it gets tons of traction, and good luck to you in all things. It's been great getting to know you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for honoring us with your presence today. Appreciate you so much. Thank you very much, Sherilyn. And I met you yesterday. I did not know how awesome you are. I got a little glimpse, but today I got a bigger picture. So thank you so much. Andy, oh my God. I've been wanting to do this for such a long time, and I'm so happy with Justin too, that we had the perfect two people with Sherilyn, three to have this topic. Please, if you have any last words, tell us about your spaces, about your coaching, about your newsletters. The mic is yours. Any last words as well? Thank you.
Well, yeah. First of all, thank you. I'm honored to be invited. I actually have to go to another space right now, but you can find my newsletters. You just, if you follow me anywhere, you can find my newsletters. So that's fine. Go do that. I'm adding new websites and new things. I'm focusing the content down on personal branding. So all things personal branding. I'm going to teach people how to create their blueprint. I'm going to then, if you need help creating the content, if you want me to do it, I will do all that. And then there'll be some coaching is available coming soon. But while we were talking, that we talked about this, and I want to leave this last thought, and that is, many people have this imposter syndrome. Okay. And really you need to change your perspective on that. Here's the perspective that I use. Okay. I'm a boulder on the side I'm on the beach and I'm right next to the ocean. And every now and then the ocean beats on me. And I can either go, get away, stop, or whatever, or I can just go, the waves are going to crash on top of me every day. That doesn't change the fact that I'm a rock. It doesn't change the fact that I'm here. It doesn't change the fact that I'm stuck here and I may or may not ever be able to move. But I don't get offended that the waves smash on me. And I don't get upset when people reject or discount or don't imagine or don't understand what I'm talking about. They're just the waves. It doesn't change me. It might knock things down so that my sharp edges aren't as pointed and it makes them more smooth. But at the core, I'm still the rock. I don't change. I may smooth off. I may become shiny, or I may become better. I may become slippery, or whatever. I'm still a rock. And no matter what I can do, I can't stop the waves from bashing against me. And so if you take that perspective that you are a precious and important and special person, whatever talents you bring, waves of life are going to hit you, and there's nothing you can do about that. And it doesn't change who you are. It might take a few edges off. Fine. It doesn't change the essence of who you are. And so you need to bring that all the time. And if you bring that all the time, everybody else will realize, I need the boulders on the side of the things. Otherwise, the waves that come in, the negativity will wipe everything out. And they'll wipe out the shore, and they'll wipe out the beach, and they'll destroy all the area that we have. We need people who are rocks, planted no matter what happens, that they're still there no matter what. And that's the best way to get over this perspective that I'm not good enough. People are attacking me. And just the waves, they go in and out. You don't change. So hopefully that I can leave that with you guys today. Thank you again for inviting me.
My pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I'll make my share very quick. No empire is built by itself. You are building your brand, you are building yourself, and you're building your empire. This is where the power of community comes in, whether it be Unfeathered, whether it be the Startup Circle, whether it be the Hunt, 3 of my favorite communities. I have been on this journey for a long time, but it's the past 2 years that I really got myself out of my comfort zone and I got involved in communities. I gave back and I got so much support pouring in. People told me I had potential, but I didn't believe in myself. I didn't believe it till I chose to. So my last words are community. Don't go on this journey alone. Contribute to other people's brands. That's the power of community. They will contribute to yours. We came here from 3 different communities or 2 different communities, but we uplifted each other and each other's brands in the process. So people, if you want to get attention, this is you want to get people's attention. We talked about the attention factor. Contribute to their content, show words of appreciation, give feedback. Content creators crave that. They need that. People don't take time. People just consume. Don't be someone who consumes only. Be someone who gives back and believe in yourself. That's my last words for today. Thank you again to our esteemed panelists. Justin, I know you left. The 2 Justins left, but we appreciate you just as much. And we will have this live stream again next week, 12:30 p.m. Eastern on X, LinkedIn, and YouTube. Topic is to be decided. We hope that it'll be on personal branding and the AI algorithms, but we currently need a panelist as well. So if we can find a panelist, they may be here, you never know. But if we can find a panelist, we will host on that topic. If not, we will find a topic and we will let you all know. So sign up to the Unfeathered community on X and LinkedIn and stay tuned. And thank you again for your time, everyone. And thank you to our panelists and the ones who are here and the ones who left. And thank you, the Job Father. So we'll see you all next time. Stay blessed, lead with love, and lead with impact. And I will be ending the live stream now. Thank you.